wrong one. Oh, there we go. Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, hello, and welcome to Talking Leeds, your one-stop Leeds United podcast. We're here every week, and my name is Arron Marshall, and good evening to the man with the beard, the bearded peacock himself, Mr. George Brook. Good evening, George.
Good evening, Aaron. Good, like you said, good afternoon, good morning. Hello, all of it. Whenever you listen to, because I know we are listened to all over the place.
We're global, George. We've made it.
It's a good day. It's a good day, and I hope everybody can enjoy it. I'm a bit lagging. I'm lagging on the YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube, but I'm not lagging. I don't think in the sound. So if you listen to it without sound, you should be able to hear me fine. But good evening to everybody in the comments. Clive, good evening to Jimbo. Now, there's something going on here. I think Aaron has did something a little bit naughty and said that I'm on the toilet and just waiting. Let me just say that I wasn't on the toilet. I was, in fact, filming or recording, should I say, an opposition view for tomorrow's evening game at Sunderland. So
wow. Let's just
do not listen to Mr. Marshall.
Well, I don't know what you said because you froze.
Oh no, it's one of them, isn't it? It's one of them, Aaron. It's one of them pods, isn't it? Where it's
going to be one of those again.
The thing is frozen and everything is frozen. It's like, what's the names of Frozen?
I don't know. I must admit, I've never watched Frozen before.
Have you not? What? It's like Elsa, isn't it? And God knows the other girl's name, but Frozen. Go watch it, and after we've finished, then you can tell us all next time.
Anyway, I'll have to give it a watch and let you know. Yes, good evening, Jimbo's. George says, and listening to that sound, Clive, what you do is listen. All you need to do is go onto your favourite podcast provider, your Apple, your Spotify, your Amazon, and you can listen to us for free on the Apple Podcasts or any of your podcast providers. You can listen to us again.
But wait, Aaron, Clive is asking, how do we listen without sound? I don't know how you do that.
Without the video.
I don't know what it. No, I think I don't know what he means, but we can't listen without any sound.
No.
But
it's
true, Jimbo.
I do sometimes mute you, George, which I've just done now. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, welcome to the show. Everybody. George, let's just quickly talk about the last couple of games, because I didn't do a match reaction with Jerry for the last couple. I'm going to do a match reaction with him on Saturday. George, Coventry and Norwich City, 4 points from the last two games. You are very much in the Daniel Farke out camp. Are you still in that camp, first of all? And number two, are you happy with 4 points from two games?
Yeah, I think I am happy with the points gained. I think it's very, very good. The Norwich performance was pathetic, I thought. But what can you do? I think really 4 points from the games we had was okay. I still am in the long term, Aaron. Yeah, I don't see how far Daniel Farke can take Leeds United, if I'm being completely honest. But it's just one of them, I think 4 points from the 2 games we had was sufficient, although I think we could have really gone on to win that game at Norwich after we equalised. It was a poor performance for me. We looked way too open. And I know Ampadu is the main man, isn't he, really? But we completely missed him. I thought Tanaka, though, Aaron, was exceptional. I thought he looked really, really good. And Rothwell as well. Can he take his chance? Obviously, Gruev is injured as well, potentially, definitely for this game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what Farke does for the game on Friday. But overall, I was probably happy with the two results in the end. Norwich was disappointing, but it could have been a lot worse. We know it's a difficult place to go.
Yeah, it is, and I think obviously we had a good couple of bit previously. We've had some awful performances at Carrow Road, but just talking about the Coventry game though, George, because obviously I was there at the weekend. For me, the Coventry game was like the Leeds of old, if I'm being honest. They looked sharp, they looked quick, they were aggressive with their play. It just looked a lot better for me, did that performance against Coventry on Saturday. And that for me is what's reassuring me even more. Even after the Norwich game 1-1, I'd have probably taken a point at the start after kickoff. I think that's a really good point against Norwich. I really do, because they're going to be up there. They're going to be in that top 6 come the end of the season. Coventry for me were poor, but ultimately, when you're away, we're unbeaten away from home, George. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Look, I think I agree with you.
Like what Clive said there. Norwich haven't lost at home in 2024.
Yeah, and so it's a hard place to go. Is Norwich? They will be up there because they always are. Even regardless of what the manager is, and the manager's really inexperienced, but I still think the squad is good enough. That Borja Sainz for them looks a real dangerous threat, doesn't he? So, yeah, in the end, we come out of it unbeaten away from home. It's a difficult game to go to again tomorrow evening, isn't it, Arron, against Sunderland? And it's a game where we lost last season, wasn't it? Yeah, I think the Coventry game, I'm the same with you. I really liked that performance. It seemed very comfortable and like we were last season. Yeah, I agree. It was so comfortable. It was just how many could we score, and in the end, we managed to get it over the line pretty comfortably, and it could have been more. So I agree. It was a bit like watching us last season.
Doesn't that give you some optimism for Daniel Farke can get this right? Because I know you want him gone, and I know that you don't see him taking us forward. But regardless of your viewpoint on the manager, George, do you think after the Coventry performance, and Coventry, we've struggled against Coventry last year. What did we take 1 point from them or something? I know they beat us at the Coventry City Building Society, whatever it's called now, the RICO. And I think they drew with us at Ellen Road last year. Am I right?
Yeah, they did. It was 1-1. Yeah, we only took a point from them. It was one of very few teams that we didn't beat at least once. Yeah. One of them is Sunderland as well, which of course we did the same. We lost at their place and we drew at Ellen Road. So it's a different. Yeah, I agree.
But George, you look at Coventry. They've obviously just missed out on the playoffs last season. They started really poorly this year of Coventry. But they were a bit of a bogey side for us, as you say, with Sunderland. Doesn't it give you optimism? Because obviously when Coventry beat us at the RICO, it's pretty much nearly, we think, oh God, we're in trouble here with automatic promotion last season. But with Coventry, when did we play them? Was it April time we played them? And we comfortably hammered them in October. Come on, you got to look at the positives here. Daniel Farke has more credit for Saturday. He got it right.
Yeah, but he should be doing, Aaron. We were playing Coventry at Ellen Road. I have no...
Historically, George, last season we really struggled against them.
We did, but it wasn't like... like you said, they've started poorly. They had a really good result on Tuesday, didn't they, against Blackburn? But, they have started poorly. At Ellen Road, I'd back us against any team in the league. And, you should be, no disrespect to Coventry at all, but we should be turning them over by 3-4 nothing. To me, it was impressive. Leeds went away about it, and we were like we were last season. But I just think that the manager, it's inevitable that, and it's just a case of when, not if he goes. He can't take the club much further, I don't think.
But he's not going to go, is he, now? With Sunderland tomorrow, we've got the international.
No.
Do you realistically, George? Though, if you look at Leeds United at this stage of the season, I know there's been a lot of talk on so many points better off compared to last year and whatnot. We've only lost 1 in 8 league games, George. That for me is not a sackable offence for Daniel Farke, regardless of opinions here.
No, I mean he won't be sacked, Aaron. I mean it's not.
Well, he's not going to walk. He's not going to walk.
No, he won't walk. He won't get sacked just now. But ultimately, I've got the opinion of he won't take the club much further, even if we get into the Premier League next season. So but obviously I'm all up for Leeds winning games of football. So, and if that is it, obviously that means he stays, which is fine. I'm not like with the pitchforks out. I'm just saying that I don't believe he'll
yet.
Not yet. Of course I will if we lose in games of football and stuff, but we're not losing games of football. We do look relatively hard to beat. That goal, that penalty for Norwich was the first away goal we've conceded, wasn't it, this season? So I know Sunderland, I don't think have conceded at all at the Stadium of Light this season. So it's going to be difficult. But I do think that, did you not think Tuesday was flat, though? It was flat.
It was. You to an extent, you're right, George. I'm not going to, disregard what you're saying, because I take your point on board. But Leeds had just come off a fantastic performance against Coventry, and they're playing 3 games in 6 days. 3 quality, really difficult games. Coventry last year we knew was difficult. Norwich away, never an easy place to go to, especially midweek as well. And then you're playing Sunderland away. So you look at the fixtures, it's 1 home game, 2 away games in the space of 6 days. That's, for me, it's difficult. It's a difficult run of games that we're in before the international break. I prefer to be playing Sunderland on the Saturday or the Sunday rather than the Friday night. But listen, it's the way the fixtures have come out for us.
Well, it is. You can't control what the fixtures are like.
I can tell you, Sky Sports who've cocked up here because they've selected us to be on Sky Sports on the Friday evening, and that's what's ruined our season so far. TV.
It always does, and it's the same old story, isn't it? Because Leeds, they know that Leeds will pull the numbers in, so it's always going to be the case. I mean, last time, so we'll see what happens, Aaron. I do apologise. It does seem to be in and out today. What I'm going to do, Aaron.
Go on. He likes playing by like does this lad. He likes playing by like does.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I close down the computer and reboot it. But you could, just for a few minutes while it reboots and goes again.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, John.
It's so. I mean, if you listen to it without the pictures, it's fine, isn't it? But it's just in and out. It's in and out. But there you go. What can you do? What were you saying, Aaron? About
we're very professional here on Talking Leeds.
Of course.
Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah. Listen, it's like I was just going to jump into the comments and say, right, it's like what Clive said here. If we're 3 points off the top two, first quarter, then I'd say that's okay. We could be first or second this weekend, says Clive. This is what I'm trying to say, George. Leeds United could be with a 2-goal win tomorrow evening, go top of the Championship.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it?
That for me is great, given the exodus of players which you had in the summer. For us to be even considering where we are, I think it's great. I don't think Daniel Farke's done a bad job. I think the performances, especially the Coventry game, was good. A lot of people saying, "Oh, how did Meslier save the penalty?" I've seen it early up in the comments there from Norwich. Ultimately, it went in. You can't complain. We shouldn't have given away the penalty in the first place. That's the issue. Why didn't you save it? We shouldn't have given the penalty away from Rodon against Norwich.
No, the penalty was poor. I think Rodon, I don't know what's happened to Rodon this season, but he hasn't been good enough for me personally from the majority of the games. It was a silly tackle. And what was he doing? It was a nailed-on pen. You can blame it Meslier if you want, but like you said, it's a 50-50 chance, or maybe not even that. The striker is a bit more favoured, isn't he, in a penalty probably. So it was his same side, but he just couldn't get down low enough. There's no thing aimed at him from me at all. And Clive says it, well, maybe, you never know, do you? I don't think it is, though. I don't think it is obstructing the lines of the internet, but it might be. Who knows? But also, Jimbo did ask me if I've still got the post office. No, I do not. But it's looking a bit like that way tonight, isn't it?
Do you know that is a blast from the past? The post office Wi-Fi. That is a blast from the past. Who is your current Wi-Fi provider, George? Just so we know.
Well, it's EE.
Oh, EE! You've upgraded from post office from Shell to now EE. Is moving up the
There you go. It's what can you say? Maybe Kevin Bacon. Maybe I just got enticed by Kevin Bacon on the adverts. I don't know.
Oh dear. Clive says, I agree with George. Since being made permanent, Rodon hasn't been as good as last season. Good that we have Strout back. Let's just hope Strout never takes another penalty for Leeds United. What about Ramazani? Ramazani, what a player!
Yeah, Ramazani looks all right, doesn't he? On what was it, Tuesday? Lovely finish, wasn't it? He didn't, and he looked, he looked bright in the whole game. Arron confused me from a. Daniel Farke's point of view, it was really poor. Taking Largy off, who had a good game. I thought Nonto was very good.
Do you think that was tactical because of the amount of games that they've got, that they're having to?
It was. It was.
And I get, you've got to, come on now, you've got to get that, though. You've got to give Daniel Farke some credit there. You've got to give him credit.
So. No.
Why?
I think because you go for the game you play.
But if he'd got injured or whatever, we'd be saying, why the hell didn't you take him off? You can't win with the substitution. You can't.
No, but the likelihood is he doesn't, and he might have an opportunity to win the game for us because they were on the back foot when we scored 60th minute. Lovely goal. It was probably the best bit of play we had in the game. Nice play by Strouk as well. Nonto, good thinking, and it was a lovely finish, wasn't it, from Largy? But yeah, it was one of them things. It wouldn't have been an issue, Arron. I don't think. I think we would have won the game. As it was, the substitution interrupted the flow, and Norwich came back into it really without really threatening.
But is that because the way I see this one is, and I completely agree with you, it did disrupt the play. But is that because we haven't got the quality on the bench to replace Ramazani? Is that the issue here? We haven't got a like for like. We're missing Dan James as an example. We don't really have. I don't feel the bench is as quality on there as which can you've got no real game changers on there other than Bamford, Pirot.
Yeah, well,
That's
this is
it.
it. Yeah,
That's all we've got.
well, yeah, it is, but I don't know. He's just so random with it. And then why is Joffrey Gelhardt still playing for Leeds United? I really, really don't know. He's so poor. He's so poor. When you look at what we've got, like you said, it's so poor. Gelhardt, Byram. I just don't understand it. Well, why can't we get some decent footballers in the building, really? But you know,
Well, we
what I
have.
mean?
We tried to, and obviously, it didn't work out for
Well,
us.
yeah, but then there's injuries as well. You know, you look at Manor Solomon, who's played 2 games, and then he's got injured, and he's not going to be featuring, I guess, on Friday, is he? Dan James is injured, so it's annoying, isn't it, when these players get injured? When you look at the bench, there was a lot of youth on the bench. It's always good to see the young guys get on and get games, but really, yeah, we need quality to win games of football, and I just. The subs were very confusing. Byram's rubbish for me, Clive. I just don't rate him.
Why? As a substitute player, he is Daniel Farke's player through and through is Sam Byram. But when are we going to see a picture from Schmidt?
Schmidt.
Schmidt.
He played, didn't he, on the weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, but not for a substantial amount of time.
Well, he's got injured, hasn't he? Again, he's another one that's got injured, Arron, apparently. So, so he won't play. But I imagine you'd hope if Schmidt was fit, then Byram won't be in the squad. So you'd have Schmidt, and then maybe.
I think Byram is a good utility player. He can play right back, left back. He can probably play in goal if you needed him to. Sam Byram, and I think the problem with what you've got here is Daniel Farke likes him, he rates him, and he trusts him. I think that's the key thing here: is to trust that the manager will come. He will call upon Sam Byram come the 70th minute. He's warmed up, and he'll say, "Right, come on, Sam, you're going on and doing a shift for me to get the 3 points over the line." That's what he always does.
Well, he does, yeah. It's ridiculous.
And that's because there's no real quality on the bench. That's the issue, other than Pirot. And I know you're going to bang on me about Joe Pirot. I don't rate him. I still don't see the benefit of having Joe Pirot. I think Bamford's better. I just don't think I just don't see the bench as a strong point for Leeds United this season compared to last year. It was a lot more better and stronger this time.
Well, yeah, it kind of it is. The bench is weaker, and you can't deny it with the fact that the 2 lads have gone.
But the point is though, George, when it's 0-0, 1-1, or whatever, it's a close-knit kind of championship game. You need that quality to come off the bench. One of these old dogs, which I've been going on and on and on about. You just need an old dog who's been in the championship year in, year out, knows what to do, knows how to find the back of the net when your back's against the wall, and bang, you get 3 points. That's the difference. That's what with Leeds United are missing, in my opinion. I don't know about you. I don't know what people think in the comments, but that's what Leeds are missing. And Pirot, yes, his stats, this, that, and the other, and he comes off and he's a good impact sub, you can argue. But, ultimately, I just don't think we've got that quality on that bench.
Yeah, well, no, ultimately, I don't think we do. I mean, Clive said it was full of kids last season. It was in a sense, but I think with those 2 lads missing, Somerville and Ruter, immediately it looks weaker. You think that obviously if those 2 lads were still here, those 2 guys would start. You'd have then, Ramazani and Solomon when he's fit, and Dan James on the bench, and all them kind of guys. So it does look a little bit weak on the bench, but I think we've still got enough to win a lot of football games in this division. Personally, just off the odd one like Pirot, or what I mean. Like you said, he's got ability at this level to come off the bench as he is now and to score goals. That's kind of what he does. Obviously, didn't do it on Tuesday, but he could have done. There was opportunity there where I remember Tanaka stole the ball he picked the wrong pass, and for some reason he wanted to pass to Bamford instead of Perot, and it went amiss. So it's all about decision making as well. You've got to get your decision making right, and you know, and that's ultimately what will win you games of football.
George, what have you done? You've done that. We're back. There we go. Woo!
Well, we are, but it's really gone to heck today. I mean,
What a bonkers show we're having. I thank God I can edit this when we do when we put this out on the podcast feeds.
I've just no idea what the heck the Wi-Fi is doing or what's going on. It's really gone to pot, but
Anyway, I've forgotten what we were saying amongst all the craziness, George.
Well, I mean, like the guys have said, yeah, Kevin Bacon, where are you now? You've let me down here with this Wi-Fi. I don't know what the heck's gone on here, but yeah, but it's just hey, look, it's live.
It's technology. This is the world we live in.
It is, and for all its goodness, it does let you down occasionally. It has really let me down this evening, unfortunately. Maybe I have. Maybe it's them up there that have just got into my Wi-Fi system and decided to make it rubbish. In the end, I don't know what happened there, but
anyway, let's bring it back to earth. George, Ampa is going to be out until at least January. I think it'll be longer than that, if I'm being honest. Obviously you talked about Tanaka going into that role. Do you think this is going to be a problem for Leeds now up until January? Because Ampa for me is our best player on the pitch and on the day. And I think he's such a big character, he's such a big player who's going to be missing for us for a good stint, at least half of the league season. And that for me will really hurt us, I think, in this promotion run.
Yeah, it will. It definitely will. It'll be a miss completely till January probably now. Yeah, it's a massive miss. He's a club captain for a reason. He's a big presence in the middle. And I felt like on Tuesday we were very open. And it was because he was missing. And yeah, you can't deny it. He will be a big miss for Leeds. We've got to step up. The guys in the middle have got to step up. Looks like Gruev is probably out for the Sunderland game as well. So it'll be Ao and Joe Rothwell, won't it? So you Yeah, I mean, Tanaka, what I said at the top, Aaron, Tanaka looks really good, to be fair. At this level, really calm and composed on the ball, similar to Ampadu. And to be fair, Aaron, when Ampadu's fit and back fit and providing Tanaka is fit as well, I would like to see both of those guys together in the middle there. I think they would complement each other pretty well. They're both pretty tidy on the ball, but I think Tanaka's that little bit more offensive, isn't he? A bit more attacking than obviously Ampadu is. So they might really complement each other pretty nicely, which is something definitely Daniel Clark needs to look at if he is still there by January, which I'm sure he will be. Tanaka and Rothwell. Yeah, Rothwell looked pretty good, to be fair.
I'm not sold on Rothwell, if I'm being honest. What I saw on Tuesday night, I just doesn't look up to it for me.
Really? I don't know. It looked all right. It looked a little bit untidy, but that might have been from just not been playing very often. I know it's an easy get out, but maybe that was it. He just hadn't got enough minutes on the pitch. But I don't know. I thought he looked okay, and I think Tanaka though definitely, if he's in place of Ampadu, and I don't think Gruev. I don't know. Gruev haven't really. I don't really rate Gruev either too much, really. Actually,
really. Gruev? My God, why? Sure. What's Gruev done wrong to you? I think he's brilliant. Proper ball is Gruev.
I don't know. I think it's a shame. Like they're both going missing at the same time. Apparently, Daniel Park hasn't said too much on Gruev's injury, so I don't know whether he'll be. He might be back fit for Sheffield United at the end of the international break. So if he don't go away with Bulgaria, which I imagine he probably wouldn't, then
God, wow.
then he's probably going to be maybe fit for Sheffield United. So.
Wow. Well, yeah.
Has been called up for Japan. I know Brendan Aronson has been called up for the USA, so I haven't seen any more yet, but yeah.
Let's just jump on this. Rothwell is good. As a good progressive player, not to Amp's level, but he can take a set piece, something we've struggled to do for years. Yes, that's what Carl says. Underscore 84. Set pieces, George. Corners, for me, are really frustrating for Leeds United. Watched them against Coventry at Ellen Road. And I said to my mate Steve, who sits next to me, and I just said, no chance. Keep going all day long. Corners. What the bloody hell does it have to be for Leeds United to score from a corner? I think it's 230 odd corners we've taken, and not one goal has come from them.
Yeah, I think corner kicks. People get way too excited by corner kicks. In sort of, I think European football elsewhere in Europe and other places maybe as well, they don't get excited at all about a corner kick. They actually see a corner kick as a bit of a dangerous position for them to concede a goal. So I really don't understand the fascination now that Leeds United fans have with goals from corners. It doesn't really matter as long as they get a goal and win the game, which we inevitably do sometimes, or sometimes we don't. Mostly often not, we will score at least one. So,
but after 230 odd plus corners, 0 goals have been scored. I just think Leeds, the way they play though, George, it's like they kind of play for it. Yes, they have some shots, but they try and push it out wide and they try and cross it in. And I look at corners and I think, what's the point? What is that? I'd rather just take a goal kick and start again.
Well, like I said, Carl says, we definitely can't get excited about them anymore. We don't. I don't. Yeah, honestly, and the more and more, every single time I've seen, I don't know who's good. Gruev is terrible at free kicks and corners. So is Rothwell. There don't seem to be many in the squad that can actually take a good set piece. So that's probably why, they're just putting the hand up and swinging it in. but not really.
But the majority, because we have so much possession in games, George, and we do dominate. We dominate games, and we try and keep possession. And the way we attack is ultimately because of the way we attack. We're gonna have corners, but we just don't. You've got Strauch. It's like what Clive said though. It's so annoying. We have Strauch who can get his big 50-pence forehead on them, and it just doesn't work. Yeah, exactly. You get Rodon, 6'4", can't head in from a corner.
Yeah, I mean the two boys at centre back who are
but why?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them, wouldn't you? I mean, they're not getting close enough to the ball at corner kicks. Rodon's not scored for us at all. Strauch is not good at headers, is he? Like you said, he's a bit of a.
He is. But he's the threat which he has is there.
No, it's not. It's clearly not because he hasn't scored.
He has done before.
Well, he has once or twice. If you look down the last season, I bet you we didn't score that many from corners either. Now, somebody's got a stat probably somewhere because it's the thing now, counting how many goals we're scoring from corners. So somebody's probably got it somewhere, how many goals from corners we got last season. I bet it wasn't that many.
Probably one. I think it was one.
Well, it's probably not many.
1 or 2.
And, but if you watch football in general now, Aaron, I don't think actually there are that many goals from corner kicks, are they, in general?
Yeah, generally there is, yeah. It's
sure.
just Leeds United who don't score goals from corners. Generally, there is. There we go, Jimbo. Here he is.
I had to say it, didn't I?
There you go. Yeah, that's what we're missing. Liam Cooper to head them in. I think he was the last one to score for us from a corner.
He probably was, to be fair. There was one he scored in the first game of last season against Cardiff, wasn't he? That was from a corner, yeah. So, like Carl said earlier up, you don't really get too excited about it. Like you said, you might as well just give the ball back to the goalkeeper and say, you just have it, we're never going to score anyway. So it is a bit like, it's just a piece of play that you just kind of, if you're watching it, you no need to watch, are you really? Because we're never going to score. So
there you go, and that's
exactly.
Direct free kicks. You can only think of Grove versus Norwich and James versus Leicester, and that Dan James one against Leicester last season was a bit of a fluke, really, wasn't it?
Well, it was a bit deflected, I think, and whatnot. But and that didn't matter in the end anyway, because we were already up in the game, and it was like the last seconds of the match.
I think I technically want to pull Jimbo up on this because we didn't concede from them. I think the Burnley game, if I remember correctly, when we conceded was a slip from a corner from Solomon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We're not technically we still don't concede.
Yeah, but we're not really conceding. We're not conceding direct from corner kicks and direct from our own corner kicks, are we? So, I think they're pretty solid. For all Clive is frustrated about Strike and Rodon in the opposition's box. They're not too bad in our own box defending corner kicks, to be fair. I think you do feel quite solid nowadays, right now at the back. Definitely through the middle. Not at all down the sides. I think Bogle's started awful, actually, really, in terms of defensive play. And Firpo's not much better either. But I mean, Firpo for me on Tuesday was terrible as well. But then he got taken off, didn't he? Because obviously he wants to preserve him for Friday. But for me, he was poor on Tuesday as well. And it is what it is. No goals from corners. As long as we get a goal from somewhere. To be fair, on Tuesday, it didn't really look like we were going to score, I didn't think. And it just was that little bit of play that opened them up, and then they did. And I was really annoyed with Brendan Aronson because I thought he had a good game in all. But it's just that opportunity that he had where Nonto probably should have had a penalty, actually, but he didn't. And I reckon Brendan was just like, sod it, he's going to give the penalty. I'll just whack it over the bar. And then you've got to finish these chances and then ask questions later, because he should be getting that at least on target. It was a really good opportunity, that. and people were just complaining about the penalty. Stick the ball in the goal, then ask your question. So I was
interesting. Yeah, interesting, Josh. I just want to get your thoughts on referees this season for Leeds United. Obviously, we've seen 8 games now so far this season. I think the standard of refereeing and officiating in this league has got a lot worse. I think it's really got a lot worse. I don't know if that's because the referees, when they've been officiating in the Premier League, have been used to the VAR and too reliant on the technology, or if it's just a poor refereeing standard in the Championship. I have to say, I think it's got worse. And I genuinely will see this, and I've said this before on this show, I do think that it will be a matter of time before VAR comes into the Championship, but the standard of refereeing has been poor.
Yeah, I mean, they're thinking about VAR, aren't they? I think there was a couple of controversial goals. I think Norwich scored one on the weekend that I think a few people were not happy about. I can't remember who they were playing now, actually. Derby. I think Derby weren't very happy about it. I think Bristol or maybe Swansea scored a goal that I think the Bristol manager was calling for VAR as well. I don't think it'd be too long before. I don't understand why it isn't, to be honest. But they just don't see fit.
What gets me is that like VAR's used in the Championship playoff final, but it's not used in the semi-finals. You know, it should be used in the league. It shouldn't be used at all throughout any of the league.
I don't understand it.
Yeah,
I don't understand why it's not been used at all. If it's used in the final and such things and whatever, I mean, you go back to standard referee now, and it's the man on Tuesday was absolutely rubbish. I mean, for both teams as well, he just wasn't consistent.
What was that, George?
And he kept doing things that we weren't happy with. I know him. I know the man with the tattoo on his hand, and he was awful. He was awful. He was awful. He was, and he was poor ref. Had got high on. Yeah, maybe he had, Jimbo. Maybe he just got too high on mustard before he went out. Maybe he was just sniffing it all up before he went out, and then he really got high on it all, and he was really poor ref. I thought he could have really done a better job. The nailed on was a penalty, but the rest of it was really, really poor. Arron isn't muted, Clive. He's playing a game because I can see it that he's not muted, and he's playing a game with me. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the refereeing standard was poor on Tuesday. I thought he was surprisingly that he didn't get a man sent off, and that was it. But what else can he say? What else can he say? I think what does everybody else think of the general refereeing, and what does people think of Norwich in general? Did you go to Norwich on Tuesday, or what did you have a good time, or did you have a day off on Tuesday and go and watch?
Oh God! Yeah, I'm back, George. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I was just having a rant about refereeing in general in the Championship.
No, you weren't. You were miming it, and you might have had it in your head. I don't know. It did go off at the end. So
Anyway, it is what it is. Shay Arsenal. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Arsenal.
We've got an Arsenal fan on. Arsenal, what are your thoughts, Shay Arsenal, on officiating in the Championship? If you think it's good, what's your thoughts on officiating in the Premier League? Do you think it's better or worse? I do think though that the officiating generally has got a lot worse, and I think as soon as we get VAR in the Championship, the better. And I think it will help Leeds United out, because we could have had, I'm thinking back now, George, we should have had at least, 2 penalties, and that could have put us currently, with those penalty decisions, we could have been first.
Yeah, look, I think we definitely had that Nonto, and I'm saying about Aronson, he should have put the ball in, but the referee should have given a penalty. He clearly clipped him. I don't know why he'd go down. Why he'd go down anyway if he didn't. You know what I mean? If he didn't get clipped, so it should have been a pen. But yeah, the referee, we know him. We've seen him a lot. Like I said, I always recognise him because of that tattoo on his wrist, and I've seen him quite a lot. He's always really, really poor. I don't know why he still gets jobs, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Thank you, Arsenal. Yes, sir. We don't like to say smash that like button, but please do, and subscribe below. Get us to 100,000 subscribers. Do it. We don't push that. It's up to you. If you want to subscribe, it's good if you do. If you don't, we're not going to press you to do it. But subscribe below, hit the bell.
If you want to subscribe, do it. Thank you, Shay, for that. And are you an Arsenal fan? I think it's pretty obvious you are, but just let us know. To go.
So,
I don't know. You might know Clive if he has one of them on his backside. I don't know.
I just wanted. So we're going to play a game, George. We played this a couple of weeks ago, obviously, because you can subscribe and you can download the podcast, which we are recording right now. God knows why we're going to put this out this week, but we will, even with the technicals. We want to play a quick game of guess the location for where we've been downloaded, and guess what? We've hit 2,000 downloads across our platforms, George. So that's quite impressive to say we've been doing this 2 months.
200, did you say? 2,000?
2,000 downloads on all different ones. So I want to play a game with you, and a new one, because I'm a bit of a data geek. I want you to guess the country of where we have been downloaded, because I think I listened to Don't Go to Bed Just Yet. I think they do wherever you're listening from, you get a t-shirt or something and they post one out. We don't do that. We just give you a shout out on the pod. So, George, the first one I'd like to hit you with is this one, Nice. Where's Nice in the world?
Nice, France, isn't it?
Nice.
Is it Malaysia? Is it Malaysia?
Malaysia. If you know in the comments and you're watching live, please do guess where that city or town in the world is. Nice. It is not. Where did you say again?
Is it Nice?
Nice. N-A-S. N-A-A-S. Nice.
Is it Nice?
Nice. No, not Nice.
Is it Nice?
Nice. N-A-A-S. Where's that?
Is it nice though?
It's a nice place. I know that. Where in the world am I?
You're in Nice.
I'm in Nice.
It's Ireland.
It is Ireland. Yes, well done, Clive. County Kildare. My grandma was born in Nice, so we've got some fans in Ireland, in County Kildare. George, what about this one then? Lexington. Where's Lexington in the world?
America.
It is. Yes. Well done. Well done. You've been brushing up on your on your geography.
Well, maybe so.
What about Ashburn? Ashburn is another one which you've been.
Ashburn is America also, is it?
It is also in America, yes. Do you know, we're getting a lot of ones. And the last one which I want to hit you with is Letterkenny. Where's Letterkenny?
That's Ireland as well, isn't it?
It is. Bloody hell, you've been checking out the downloads, haven't you, George? You really
No,
have.
I haven't at all. I just recognise the... I'm not privy to that information, I don't think.
Oh.
But there you go. I don't know. Is it nice? Is it nice? Nice.
Ness is in Dublin.
Is it nice?
I don't know what to say.
Nice?
Nice is how you pronounce it.
Is it out? Is he out for months? Is he, Arthur? I don't know. Where has he said something about that, Fark? I don't know.
Don't know. Beeston. We're big in Beeston. We've had a few downloads in Beeston. We've also had a few downloads in my town of Putsey. I've had 10 downloads there.
We also had a lot of downloads in your living room, Aaron.
No. Anyway, that's the end of our little roundup of our podcast around the world of where we've been listened to and where we're big, which is good. So thank you to everybody who listens to us. But George, we've got a final game before the international break against Sunderland tomorrow, away at the Stadium of the Light, 8 p.m. kickoff live on the TV. We're not going to say which channel it is because we don't like them. But George, what's your prediction for tomorrow, please, against the mighty Black Cats in Sunderland?
Oh yeah, he's right actually about Gruev. Months is going to be out, yeah. So he's going to be out for months. Ampadu's going to be out for months. So
okay, right.
Yeah,
Give us a prediction for Sunderland
then. Sunderland's difficult, isn't it? To do. I'm going to go with. I don't know. I'm going to say 1-0 Leeds, but I think that's quite optimistic. But I'm going to go with 1-0 Leeds.
Okay. Top of the table of Sunderland as things stand in the Championship. Yeah. So you're going 1-0 Leeds?
Yes, they haven't conceded a goal yet at home, so it's going to be difficult, I think. And it's one of them grounds. It's just a little bit stinky for Leeds. I think that going there just after we got Norwich long trip again. It just stinks a bit, but yeah, I hope that obviously we can come away with a win.
Okay, so go for a 1-0 win. Don't forget as well, in the comments, get in and we'll give them a shout out before we wrap up. I think it's going to be a tough game tomorrow, George. I don't think it's going to be as plain sailing as what you might think. I think it's going to be very squeaky bum time for us. And I can see Leeds United drawing this one. I don't think Leeds will go and win, I'm afraid. I'm going to go for a very boring 0-0 score draw.
Would you take a draw, Aaron? Considering we drew with Norwich, would you?
Do you know what? I don't think a draw is necessarily a bad thing for us, given to where we are. What, we're 5th in the league or something? I think Leeds, they've got to weather the patch. They've got to weather the storm here with these injuries because you've got Gruev out, who's a key player for us. You've now got Ampa out. If Gruev's out for months and you've got Ampa out, we've got a problem now in that sense of the park. Key central midfield players are out now for a season, for a large amount of time.
Well, in the space of like 2 days as well.
Probably, yeah. So this is the thing now. I think now what Leeds United need to do is they need to weather the storm with injuries and manage them back as quickly as we can, whilst also rotating the squad. But I don't think the quality in that middle of the park is attack. I think we'll do okay. I think he'll start. But for me, it's a difficult one, Josh, because Sunderland have started well, and people are saying, "Oh, they're going to do a Norwich, an Ipswich, and they're going to be up there this end of this." I don't think they will be, if I'm being honest. I think it's going to be tough, though. It'll be a full house up at the Stadium of Light. I think it's going to be really, really difficult for us to get something from that one.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be a difficult game, no doubt about it, but
I would take a point right now. I'd love 3. I'd love 3 points.
Yeah, of course,
there's not that about it. But given the circumstances and given the amount of games that we've played 3 games in the last 6 days. We've travelled down to bloody Norwich now, going back up to Sunderland. I just think that obviously has a knock-on effect. Obviously, the injuries as well will hurt us, and then. Hopefully, we've got, after this international break, we've got a real good stint up until March next year, haven't we, of successive running games and things like that. And I think that, for me, is more important because then that's when you can get your runs together, can't you? You can get you can go your 12, 13, 14 games unbeaten and really make a stint at the Championship title.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, after November, there's a big chunk of games where you can really get into it and see how the season pans out. But yeah, we'll wait and see. It's definitely a difficult game tomorrow night, though.
It's going to be difficult, but I'm sure Leeds United will probably let us down. But Sunderland, they've lost 2 games this season and they're top of the league.
Yeah, so yeah, it shows you, doesn't it? And both of them
Mm.
will have probably been away as well, I think. So it just shows you. It just shows you it is a championship. You can lose games and still be at the top.
I'll tell you who's falling from grace, West Bromwich Albion.
A little bit, but it's still early season, isn't it? I mean, it was only a narrow defeat, wasn't it, on Tuesday? You know, they're still in and amongst it, aren't they? With with a load of games to go, isn't it? There's a long way to go, Aaron.
There is, and thank God the international break is coming for us, because I think it could be a bit of a saving grace for us, couldn't it?
Potentially, yeah, potentially. It's definitely not been good. Few days really in terms of injuries.
Yeah, well, all that leaves me to say is that even though there's an international break coming up, we will be back, won't we?
Oh, absolutely, Aaron. Yeah, we'll be here to next week. You know what I mean? Wrapping it all up and seeing how we did at Sunderland, and looking forward to when Sheffield United in a couple of weeks' time. So
yeah, Carl, the post-match reaction will be streamed. It will be live on Saturday. Myself and Jerry McNamee will be back for that one. We've got 3 games to review, but we'll be focusing heavily on the Sunderland one. We'll be back for that one. So it'll be on Saturday, probably in the afternoon, because I've got to go do my big shop at Asda on Saturday morning.
fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I've got to get my Asda rewards in. Do you know how much in my Asda rewards I've got for Christmas? I've got £37.
Wow, that's good.
That's quite good, isn't it? My Asda rewards app. It's pounds, not points.
Yeah, exactly. Buy a turkey, might buy a turkey or whatever. Or
not at the cost of living crisis. It might get me half a leg.
Well, yeah, you're right there, aren't you? Gosh, Christmas is coming. Gosh.
Yeah, but that means the football will be back though for us though, George. It'll be more regularly for us rather than bloody international breaks. The Nations bloody league, I'm sick of hearing it. I don't care about Lee Carsley and bloody England. I don't care about Finland. I don't care about Greece. I don't care about any of it. England are rubbish, and I don't care primarily about any of the Nations League. I don't care.
No. I think I'm with you on.
Does not mean anything to me. Well, it's nothing. It's a waste of time. I'd rather have 2 weeks off than bloody sending them all off to around the world. Yeah. First off to the Dominican Republic, Tanaka's off to Japan. Well, Dan James, Ampa and he's going nowhere.
Well, and Gruev as well.
Yeah, thank God. Get Leif Davis in the England squad, says Jimbo. Do you know what? Play the kids. I'm not bothered as long as our lads get a rest. Can I just give a special mention to Aston Villa, George, who beat Bayern Munich last night? That, when I was watching that last night, I thought, do you know what? That could have been Leeds. It could have been Leeds.
Yeah, well, it could. Yeah, strange things would have happened,
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, George, for that. Thanks again for listening to us. Don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and all that sharing. Give us a share. And download us on the podcast. And we'll play another game next week of where the podcast was downloaded. And we'll see you on the next one. All the best, guys. See you soon.
See you soon, everybody. Have a good